Welcome everyone. I'm Friar Tuck. This is my epoch. Okay, so I'm gonna try and be a little bit more stable with the camera today, but I don't think that's gonna happen just because I gotta hold it. Because, well, yeah. Anyways, so we're gonna be talking about the homeless crisis expanding, and just kind of what by this time next year. Oh wow. Okay, I must have lost a couple of people. Oh well. By this time next year, we should be experiencing a major uptick in homelessness as far as the information that I'm hearing. So what's his name? Economic Ninja had a video up today, or actually he did a live stream where he was talking about the fact that the eviction moratorium has been up for a couple months, and now we're starting to see mass evictions. But the thing is with evictions is it takes a minute, and there are people out there who know how to game the system in a lot of ways. Okay, so when it comes to an eviction, because I've had to run a couple myself, is that you have to go so long without receiving rent, then you have to give them a notice, and then you have to are you guys able to hear me? Okay, so let me know if you guys can still hear me. Let me know if this is any better, because it seems like I got people jumping in and out. I'm not sure if it's me or what's going on. So anyways, with that being said, it takes at least 30 days, because you have to get, okay, Greg, can you hear me well? Okay, so anyways, it takes at least 30 days before you can set a court date, and then that court date is set for the last week of the month. Actually, they have two court dates. They have one in the middle of the month, one at the end of the month, and then at the end of the month, what they will do is then they'll run the court case, and then you can have up to another 30 days to get out if you do something like that. So it could take as much as 90 days to run a process from beginning to end if somebody fights it and still loses because they're not able to pay their rent. Okay, so we're coming up on that point in time. So let's say that they had to wait because there's been some sort of moratorium set up, like what they're doing, I think in California, if I'm not correct, where they are. What is it that they're doing? They're basically wiping out the past due rent that was owed, and by getting that past due rent, they are wiping that out. Now they have to start clear, and so now that may give another 30 days. So, with the official moratorium ending, we can, and evictions being allowed to run through. Now, there's going to come a point when, like, what happens when you have something along the lines of 3 in 10 citizens that don't have a place because either they thought that they could just have free rent forever, nothing was going to happen, they thought the government would come in, they thought things would be different, they thought things would change. How many of those people are going to end up couch surfing? So now, if you guys have heard me talk about the backslide into homelessness, and one of the things about the backslide is once you've exhausted all of your personal means as far as putting a roof over your head, now you are relying on others. You're going and couch surfing on friends' couches. You're going to your parents' house and you're staying there, and you can only stay there for so long until you wear out your welcome. And for whatever reason, you may be in a funk, and it's just you're just having trouble getting things going. Now, there's a lot of places that say that they're looking for workers, but I don't believe it, because I've gone in and I put in applications expecting to hear, because they're talking about how they have they're having to close a couple of days during the week because they just don't have the staff. And so when you put in an application expecting to hear back from them because you qualify, well then, do they actually really want to hire people? And so you hear about all these open jobs and all this other stuff, but it's just, I think it's what I think that there's a reason why they're doing it. I think there's a psychological reason. And also what's happening to the worker is the worker is expected to do twice as much for half the pay. They're getting hurt because they're not getting pay raises. You've got variable mortgages that, those people where their interest rate has gone so high that they can't even, hey Jess, how's it going? Where their, mortgage has gotten so high that they can't afford it. I mean, you're having all this stuff. It's coming to a head. I mean, we've been waiting for it and waiting for it and waiting for it, but we have seen, and they're not talking about this on the news. There are homeless that are trickling out, but they won't start talking about it on the news until the homeless are coming out in droves. Where, I mean, what was it? Flint, Michigan was what Economic Ninja was talking about. Yeah, they had like 179 people that had their house just sold right out from under them due to an eviction, and it was bought by a private investor. So now we have these private investors that are coming in. So instead of the housing market doing a full-on crash, you have all of these individuals, these investment firms, and all this stuff like that. These guys have all this disposable cash. They need to be able to put. Gary, if you're around, you should come around. But anyways, sorry, I got a message from a friend asked me if I wanted a cake, and I'm right in the middle of a live stream. But if it's cake, I want cake. I'm a fat boy. I love my cake. Ooh, that looks good. Oh, that looks really good. So if he's watching, yeah, I'll take the cake. But anyway, see, it's nice to, who doesn't want cake? Yeah, really, who doesn't want cake? Now me being a fat boy, man, I'm all over the place. And so now it's like I'm Twitter baited because now I got cake, or I'm thinking of cake. But yeah, I'm a fat boy. You can't sit. There's very rare that I ever turn down food. Even when I'm full, one of the things I've had to learn to do is to stack food back. And that's something that I find that's important, is that, like, because there's been times where, especially on the weekends, it's not as abundant for food, so I stash food for the weekend so I got something to eat while I'm in between meals, because I know where they feed a couple of places, but they don't feed as much on the weekends as they do during the week. At least for me, being a new guy in town, learning the places. Now the locals, they know where to eat. They stay fat and happy. They're not worried about it. But for me as an individual, who's new in town still, But the weird thing is now I got a lot of people that want to say goodbye to me. And so after I'm done with this live stream, if my friend who just texted me wants to hang out, well, I'm going to be hanging out with him, and I got another friend who wants me to hang out with him before I leave, and I've got some other people that want me to stop by and say goodbye, and plus, I've got other people that, want to have that last conversation with me. Bro, I love cake, fat boy's life. Yes, no, it's actually, we're the Fat Boy Mafia. Okay, and I need to start. I should probably make a shirt just called the Fat Boy Mafia. And so if you're a fat boy and you follow this channel, you should become part of the Fat Boy Mafia. The Fat Boy Mafia actually started down in Gainesville with me and Puckett, and he was the one who started the whole Fat Boy Mafia thing, because he's like he started lipping off, and I started to get to give him some back, and he's like, hey man, we're all part of the same Fat Boy Mafia, and it kind of stuck. And so I haven't found I've got a Fat Boy Mafia crew here too. There's a couple of fat boys that I hang out with, and we chit chat. So fat boys, we go in groups. That's why we are the Fat Boy Mafia. So but anyways, getting back on subject, I hope you guys are laughing and having as much fun as I am. And if you guys have questions, make sure to ask your questions. How did you lose your weight? Okay, that is a good question. Never turn down food. You're right. Okay, so I lost 130 pounds, and so you must have you must have seen it in my older videos where I was really, really thick. We'll just put it that I was over 300 pounds, and part of that was because I had to take a year off my foot because of I inflamed a joint in the ball of my heel, and I couldn't walk right unless I took the year off. So I took a year off of my foot. Luckily, I had a business to support me during that time. Otherwise, it would have been I probably would have been out here, or I would have had to work through it and cause more injury. But at first, it was riding a bike. I lost about 100 pounds on a bike. and I lost it really quick. I would lose 5 to 15 pounds a day sometimes, but it was because I wasn't eating. I was getting so overheated that I just couldn't stir up enough of an appetite to eat. Rice and oats are your best friend, especially if you're on a diet. Rice will give you the energy. Oats will give you the energy in the morning and maybe have a little bit of protein with it. You don't really, like, if you live that diet, you can live meagerly on a very minimal budget. Rice and beans, soups, especially cream soups. Those will put some weight on your stomach. They're much nicer to your stomach, things like that. But yeah, I lost 100 pounds on bike, and then I lost about another 20 to 30 pounds on trail, and that was about 2 months worth of walking. So it was much harder. Did you hear about the mass shooting in Maine yesterday, 22? Yeah, but I don't know much about it. I've been asking people, and the news has been talking about it, but everybody's so loud I can't hear what they're talking about on the news. I would like to know if you guys could fill me in on it, because I just haven't had a chance to. Because I heard he targeted 3 places. What 3 places did he target, first of all? That's one question. And then the other question is, what is his motivation behind it? But I guess they're still searching for the guy, because everybody's like, this is about as big as the O.J. Simpson case when they were doing the chase. Hey, here's a joke for you, and I heard this at a rodeo. What's the difference between O.J. Simpson and John Elway? See, O.J. Simpson, he drives a slow white Bronco, but John Elway, he was a slow white Bronco. So, anyways, that's my humor for the day, my dad joke. So, anyways, it was funny when I was a kid, though. I thought it was funny, because if you know who John Elway is, but yeah, if you guys could fill me in on it, I would love to know about it. But the mass shooting. And the thing is this is becoming prevalent. And here's a question. So from what I'm understanding, from what the friar told me, and we got to talk about what a friar is, because I think that's important as far as understanding the name Friar Tuck. But anyways, I was talking with the friar, and he was telling me that the police are worried that he is what is it? He knows their procedures and operations, so it's just another way to hint that it's an inside job, or that it's somebody within their network that is doing this, because of how meticulous they are. Either that, or they just watch a lot of crime scene and CSI. So I mean, a lot of people learn a lot of stuff from these sitcoms because they got to use some truth to weave in the fiction. But let's see here. From what not enough medical staff, shortages everywhere, more people died than had to, maybe. Well, here's the thing. We got to find out what the guy's grievance is. Why did he do it? He attacked a school, from what I understand. Been homeless and carrying gear was a burden. How would you go minimalist homeless? Okay. That one's easy. You need a sleeping pad or something to sleep on. Okay. You need your sleeping bag, which should be about 2.5 pounds. Okay, your sleeping pad should be no more than a pound. I have an inflatable pillow. It's like 6 ounces. Okay, so you want your burner, which you should have like a twig alcohol burner, like what I have, with a cook kit so that you can cook your own stuff. So you get that, and then let's see, so you want your sleeping bag, your sleeping pad, your pillow, you want your water filter, you want your you want your cooking stuff. That's minimalist. You should only have 2 changes of clothes. You should have something that's moisture wicking and is light. For winter, you're probably going to want to have some thick thermals, unless you migrate. The reason why you want to have the water filter and the cook set is because if you choose to migrate, you are not tied to gas stations, road walks, or anything else like that. You can hop on trail. You can yes, live like a hiker in a lot of ways, because hikers do the same thing, but they don't stay static. They're always on the move. And that's why I say, yes, I have a first aid kit, and I mostly use it for other people, not for myself. And no, I do not know CPR, nor do I intend to learn. I know the basics just from the posters, but that's kind of the way it is. But as far as living, you should be looking at, and you can probably go to REI or any hiker store. If you have yourself a 65-liter bag or a 75-liter bag, you don't need more than a 65-liter bag, really. If you're really carrying the minimal stuff. I mean, I have my electronics in one pouch, I have my tools in one pouch, I have my first aid in one pouch, and then I have an overflow pouch, and then I also have my hood pouch. So I mean, I've got plenty of places to compartmentalize things, as far as my bag goes. But you don't need anything more than maybe a 65-liter bag for an individual, 75 to 90 liter for two people, if one person's carrying all the gear. But you also got to look at it like this. If you're going to do this long term and you plan on doing this long term, that's the easiest way to put it. If you're going to do it long term, what that means is that you need to focus on quality gear. You need to focus on hold on, I think I lost something. I lost something. Oh well. Focus on quality gear. Your gear, you may have to replace it every year, so be budget friendly. Like Teton is budget friendly. This backpack I may have to replace every 2 to 3 years. The sleeping bag, just because I want to make sure that it's good for the following winter, I like to replace it, but I could probably go about 2 years with the sleeping bag. The water filter, you just got to worry about not letting it get exposed to the freezing temperature, so it goes in your sleeping bag with you. And just if you have a little bit of quality gear, not only do the other homeless look at you different, but society looks at you different. And in some ways they're kind of baffled, because they're like, how do you have money to do all this and you're still homeless? Not realizing that, just because I don't pay rent, good filter tip. Yes, I had to learn that the hard way, because I broke mine, and then I got giardia. Oh my God, that was horrible. I had to, there's watching hiker videos will give you an idea of what quality gear is and why you'd want it. But out there, you're in nature, you're more in elements, versus here in the city you have to deal with more abrasiveness. In the forest, you've got to worry about a little bit of abrasiveness, but you've also got to worry about the elements and the environment. And the environment, such as sharp sticks, branches, twigs, stuff like that, your gear's got to be able to hold up. And so if it can hold up in the forest, then it's going to be able to hold up in a city. Maybe not as good, because I mean, look at that. Look at this. This is abrasive. Okay, on a bag, if I rub it back and forth enough times, what's going to happen? That's just kids. If I run it back and forth enough times, what'll happen is I will wear a hole in it. It'll sand a hole in it. So this is kind of like what you have to worry about when you're dealing with a bag. Plus, I use my bag as a chair, and I make sure that I set it a certain way, and I sit on the barrel, that way, which I'm sleeping on sitting on the sleeping bag, and then that way I have a chair and I don't have to worry about it. Now, it is a low sitting chair, but it's enough when you want to sit down somewhere and you don't want to pull out, like, do a makeshift chair, because those things weigh, and you want to be able to carry as little bit of weight as possible, because the more weight you carry, the slower you go. I live way north. Homeless don't make it up here too well. Not enough of anything to help. Too cold to live outside. Where is that, Jess? But yeah, as far as gear, but the homeless population, again, just getting back on subject while you guys continue to ask questions. So I don't know where that is. I travel. I don't. Yeah. Oh, by the way, did you guys see what I had posted in the community tab? Our biggest city in Presque Isle. Okay. You must be in Canada or in one of those island chains. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So Jeffrey knows where you're at. Okay. I don't know. I mean, I know geography in a global map sense, but I don't know it in a detailed sense like some people do. I probably should, but I don't. I don't know. That's probably why I can nomad it. Plus, homeless in Canada, how do they do it there? Same climate. Sawyer in the woods and water key for city. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, a water key for the city. You can, if you get in with one of those building maintenance guys, they'll give you one, or you can go to a hardware store and purchase one. I think you can even purchase them at Home Depot if you go there and look. But most homeless people don't go there. That's why they don't know about it. Okay, so the stuff's out there. You could go buy it, but it's not a normal place where homeless frequent, so they wouldn't know about it. But anyways, poor Tuck, sorry, 2 combos. You're good, guys. You're good. This is what this is all about. We're here to, this is, one thing that I've noticed, and I got to give a salute to all you guys that show up here and watch this, is that this is a community. You guys are helping me in ways that you guys don't understand. So my friend who offered me the cake, sometimes he brings me cool stuff, smokables, and like I had to explain to him, every day I have to go get my resources: food, water, and then my smokables and my cigarettes. Okay, that's kind of like, it's not high. There are other things that are higher on my priority list, but that's high on my priority list, okay? Because, I gotta wait till 10 o'clock for the library to open, so I got a couple hours, to kind of screw around, do things like that, okay? But, not having to go and to raise money to be able to focus on that, or to raise money for the things that I need on a daily basis, now I have time to be able to focus more on YouTube. I can sit there in the library for 3 hours and pull out 3 videos from a live stream from the day before, because I have the ability to sit back. So, for example, the tip that was put in my tip jar last night, that's going to support me today and tomorrow, as far as everything that I need to be able to function and to not be under any stress, so that I can go about and focus on things that are productive versus focusing on things to be able to be self-sufficient. And that's the impact that you guys have on me in various ways, whether it be sharing information, whether it be just having that conversation, because you guys still kind of keep me attached to the real world, and it keeps me from really getting sucked into some of the stinking thinking that happens when you become homeless, because it does happen from time to time, it happens all the time, is that the longer you're homeless, yes, I understand. Okay, yes, okay, so you fully understand what I'm talking about. But you keep mentioning trail. I like a hammock because of my age, but what are you thinking, temp tart? Well, on the way that I'm planning on traveling right now, I will need I will have to do a tarp. Actually, no, I've got a black camouflage fleece blanket that I can use to cover up with, and my poncho is earth toned. If you looked in the community tab, you'll see what I'm talking about. So that should blend in well as in the rain, and be able to keep myself going. Now, if I get out on trail, or I can sleep in the woods, hammock over tent, I prefer the hammock. I got exposed to a hammock when I got into Alabama. I had one given to me. I gave mine away thinking I would get a better one because of a promise that never came through. But a hammock is definitely, that's the one thing that I really would. I could have gotten rid of everything else, including my cook set, but getting rid of that hammock, I think, was the one thing. I should have, instead of keeping my cook set, I should have kept my hammock. But I thought my cook set might be more valuable. But in a city, you don't need a cook set. Not unless you want to go use your food stamps, go buy yourself a nice meal. Because in Gainesville, that's what I did. And even in Chattanooga, you use your food stamps, you go down to a local park, you build yourself your cook set up, and because I was using butane at the time, you make your stuff, and you make your, like I would cook bratwurst, and we'd have chili, and make chili dogs, because I love chili dogs. That's one of my favorite things. It was easy to make in a little hobo cook pot. And you know, stuff like that you can use your food stamps for, or if you're in a rural area that does not, you know, that would be another reason why you'd want to have your own little cook set. Now, if you're going to be in a city, I would recommend butane. The reason why I'd recommend butane is because, well, with a twig burner and an alcohol burner, the city is going to be all over you. You may even have to deal with law enforcement. Versus with butane, if you're sitting in on a picnic table, they're not going to be as big a jerks about it. So that was one of the things that I had to that I had to learn. So yeah, it just luckily I had butane at the time, and that worked. Okay, so I mean that's the typical gear, but you know, you don't really need a lot to be out here. I mean, I have a poncho, I have my sleeping pad, I have my sleeping bag. I the only thing I don't have is my is my water filter. Past that, everything that I tell you that you guys should have, I have and I've kept, and it has been beneficial, because here's the thing: when things happen, whether you're worried about SHTF, whether you're worried about this global economic collapse that we're going through, whether you're worried about, you know, being affected by one of these many polycrises that they have out there. Yes, that's the new buzzword, polycrisis. So, you know, depending upon which one of these decides to pop off, you know, because we've got the everything bubble bursting, you know, you want to make sure that you have the freedom to roam about the country, and that's important. So that's why you want to be able to have stuff. Maybe you don't need it in a city, but when you get out of a city, do you know how to survive with no identification? You can't get it back. You don't really need identification. If the police want you, they're going to take you down and they're going to fingerprint you, unless you have your ID information. That's so traveling without ID, you can do it. I mean, I don't use my ID for anything. The last time I used my ID was Chattanooga. I haven't had to use my ID. Well, no, I had to use it to pick up my first my first piece of mail here, and set up the account. But if you don't have an ID, they'll give you. You can go down to a city, it's like City Hall, and get like a city identification card, but it'll only work within the city. And certain entities will not take it. They don't have to take it, especially if it's not notarized, if it doesn't have an official government seal. If it's just a piece of paper that says this person is this person, signed by City Hall, it's a worthless piece of paper. You have to have it signed, notarized, stamped, all that stuff. So living without ID, if you're not getting in trouble, you don't need ID. The only time you need ID is when you run into cops. Past that, you don't really need ID out here. Or you're getting carded for alcohol or tobacco. You know, past that, I don't use my ID. I actually have to double check and make sure that I keep it, because so many people lose their ID out here. I've never really found that it benefited me one way or another. Over in Kentucky, they wanted my ID, but if I didn't have ID, they wouldn't have denied me service. They would. I don't know if I would. I don't know. It might have actually benefited me if I didn't have Kentucky ID, because then they would just classify me as a Kentucky citizen, and that way I would get moved to the front of the line. But you know, things are things, and they work out the way they work out. So anyways, guys, we are getting towards that half-hour mark. Yes, I agree, Jess, good question. Do you guys have any more questions for me? Anything you guys would like to know about my travel? So I might be on tomorrow for a live stream. Here's the thing: if I'm not gone by Monday, life is Monday, Tuesday, life is going to be hell here. I mean, there is a sudden temperature drop that is coming, and it is not going to be pretty. And a lot of it has to do with the rain that's coming Sunday night. That is going to be what sends us into this cold spell, and that's what's going to be really, really frustrating. Okay, so yeah, no worries, Greg. Hey, and I want to say thank you guys for showing up. I'm really glad you guys did. I like the interactions that we have. We're building a community here, so keep showing up to the live streams. If you guys have a preferred date and time, please let me know down in the comments. You do very well. I'm proud of all your efforts. Your success. Stay safe. See you next time. Okay, Jess, definitely. But you guys know how to help the channel. If you're not a subscriber, become a subscriber. If you are a subscriber, hit that bell notification. Oh, here, you guys gotta see this. see cool stuff along the river. But you know, if you are a subscriber, don't forget to hit that bell notification. And if you want to help out the channel in other ways, especially you can come down in the description. And well, not only that, my hobo tutorials are over there on Patreon. It's a 7-day free trial. It's $10 a month. You get behind the scenes, plus you get the hobo tutorials. If you you know, anticipate that this may be something that is going to happen to you, or you just want to enhance your skills from a yes, yeah, rain is coming Sunday night. You know, if you just want to make sure to enhance what skills you have for whatever preparations you're making, the hobo tutorials is a good way to get your feet wet and make sure that you get good knowledge. So either take advantage of the 7-day free trial, or just go ahead and sign up for the $10 a month. Either way, thank you for great deal. Learn about edible medicine herbs, edible wild weeds and stuff. I had some subscribers that were supposed to teach me, but I never got a hold of them because I went to the hospital. This was as I was going from Alabama to Georgia. You know, they were herbalists, and they were doing something. I gotta really get into that. I got so much. I keep putting so much on my plate that I got to take some time aside so that I can do some side projects and get them ready. Because I mean, there's things like the video about the stealth camping sites. It took me a month before I actually got around to being able to film it. But I'd been thinking about that video idea for a while. So, but anyways, guys, you guys know how to help the channel. Otherwise, I will see you in the next live stream or in the next video. And thanks for watching. And again, don't forget to hit that like button, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button.